Hey, what's up guys? Psynaps here. I'm going to show you how to rig a character in Cinema 4D. But first, we've got to open up WoW Model Viewer to export the character. And who better to export than the one and only Swifty? I'm actually working on an animation that has Swifty in it. And in the animation, he's going to do a spell reflect, so I made sure to add a shield. I took the cape off, and I'm going to take the hair off, because you can see there's some weird hair things coming out of the head, helmet, whatever. But I can unselect the hair, and I think we solved that problem. Okay, so we've got the model here. First, I'm going to set up the export. I'm going to go to Export Options and select Wavefront OBJ right here. I'm going to unselect the rest of this stuff. That's going to be cool. Let's go to export the model to OBJ, and I'm going to make a new folder here. I'm going to call it Swifty Human Super Epic Awesome Rig. What is going on? I don't know. This is what happens. My life. Okay, so the export is complete. We've got the OBJ. I'll show you how that works, but we're going to do one more step. All right, this is a little trick I learned from Alex Urban, and I'll show you how that works. We're going to do one extra step where this time we're going to go to Export Model and Lightwave 3D, and we're going to save the Lightwave object in this folder as well. For some reason, WoW Model Viewer glitches out and it gives an error. I'm just going to say close this program and ignore the error. We've got everything we need. Let's go into the folder we just made. All right, now we have all these objects here. I'm going to open up the OBJ, import it like so. I'm going to save it as a new name. I'll call it Swifty Super Epic Awesome Rig. Wow, I've gone too far this time. So I'm going to save it like that. Okay, so he looks like this, and this looks like shit. So what we got to do is figure out how the objects are linked. I'll click on one of the textures here, and I'm going to add. You can see I selected the shield right here. So now I'm going to add the shield. Let's go into the folder we just made, Super Epic Awesome Rig, and we're going to find the Shield PvP Alliance. Where would that be? There it is. All right, we're going to put it there. I'm going to do the same thing for Alpha. I'm going to add the Alpha. Basically what Alpha does is it deals with transparencies. Specular is selected, but we're going to modify that later. Usually I unselect specular, so I'm going to go ahead and unselect that for now, just so we're good to go. All right, do the same thing with the Alpha channel here. I'm going to add each one of these. All right, so we've got the whole body here. This is what it looks like. The textures are in place. There's a weird thing that was going on with this particular model. The helmet has these eyes, and the Alpha didn't really seem to work that well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. If you want to get really hardcore, you can even go to save incremental, so it saves as a version 2. Psynaps is pretty hardcore. That's how we do it. So now the next step is to get the skeleton in, and instead of rigging this completely manually, we're going to import the skeleton. This is the part that Alex told me about. I've done this before, but Alex kind of reminded me how easy this can be if you do it right. So let's do it right. We're going to go to the scenes folder that we exported, and we're going to open up this LWS lightwave file, and I'll click OK, and I'll click No. I just want to export the bones. So I'm going to select these bones, copy them, go back to Swifty's Super Epic Awesome Rig, and paste it. And all the bones get pasted in there, but there's all these extra bones that we're going to have to clean out. So let's take a look at the bones and clean them up real quick. This is kind of tedious, but it's going to save us a lot of time. So everything under this root, I'm going to delete. All right, now I'm going to pull down the root, and there's like a weird bone right there. I'll delete it. Let's go to the waist. I'm gonna delete these bones. And I think this is actually the leg. Yeah, that's the leg. So I'm gonna rename that right leg. This one is the left leg. Naming this is gonna be really important for later. I don't know what that is. It's like some kind of tailbone something crap. Now let's take a look at the spine. This is the lower spine. I'm gonna delete all of these bones right here. I don't know what those are. Just go one by one, delete these bones out. And if you delete too much, you're just gonna have to undo. No problem. There's a weird shoulder bone right there. And let's take a look at the head. There's a bunch of things here for the head, which is interesting. I think that's like the top of the head right there. I'll just say top head. I don't know if we even need that. But there's some things here if you want to like modify the jaw and stuff, but I'm not going to be doing any of that, so I'm actually going to delete that. I can see there's like a little rig right there for the hair. But I'm not going to use any of that kind of stuff. And I'll delete the jaw. I think we did it. Okay, so that's the head. Let's take a look at the arms now. Delete some of these bones. Right now I'm looking at the left arm. This is actually the... Delete some of these extra bones right here. There are fingers. I'm not really going to use the fingers, but I can leave them there because they look pretty cool. I might actually want to. I might use the fingers later, so I'm not going to really delete them. And I'm going to name this wrist. All right, got the left shoulder. Now let's do the right shoulder really quickly, as quick as we can. Oh my gosh, it's so tedious. Oh, I'm dying. Not really. We're saving a lot of time here by doing it like this. And I can delete that weird bone. Okay, I think that's it. Do we get it? We got it. Oh yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I see a weird bone right here in his knee. What the hell is that? Oh my God. There we go. And some really weird looking bones right there. There's another bone right there. Where the hell did that come from? Dear God, man. Ah, it's this one right here. So let me move the root up one, and then I can delete that weird bone. We got it now. All right, so we've got this guy all set up here. We've got all the bones in place. I think we are good to go. Now what we've got to do, we've got to attach the polygons to the skeleton. So let's go ahead and save our work here. I'm going to save. But this part is tricky. I'm going to hide some of the items. Like I'm going to hide the gear. I'm going to hide the shield and the sword. I'm also going to hide the shoulders and the helm. The reason I'm doing this is because I do not want to bind the gear to the skeleton. You'll see why. I'm going to hide the boots. The tabard is not going to be bound. However, I do want to bind the trousers, not the bracers. The cape is going to stay because it's actually not the cape. It's actually just his back. The face is going to stay, ears, hairstyle. So these are the things that are going to be bound to the skeleton. All the other stuff, like this gear, I'm going to put into its own layer. So I'm going to select those and I'm going to group them into an object. I'm just going to call this the gear. Yes, things are coming along very nicely. The rest of this stuff right here, I'm going to merge into a single object. I'll say connect objects and delete. Now this is going to be, I'll just call it the body. So this is some organizational stuff. And I'll drag the body up and put it under this area right here. Now I'm going to bind everything. So I'm going to select root, and I'm going to say select children. That's going to select everything under the root. I'm also going to select the body by control clicking on it. Go up to character, commands, and bind. We're going to bind these. So now it's bound to the skeleton. I can double click on this icon right here, which is the weights expression tag. And now we can do weights. Weighting is very important. All right, it's going to let us select how the elements are bound to each other. What we've got to do here, start at the top, and we're going to go down, and it says right shoulder. So only the right shoulder should be colored. All right, that looks good. There's the right arm, and it comes a little bit down into the chest. That's usually okay. Just make sure that the arm is not, make sure there's no color on the body. This is actually a really good automatic weight that happened here. And there's the fingers. So it's very well weighted. This is great. So what you got to watch out for is, let's say you select one of the arm bones and you see there's a little bit of blue. I'm going to deselect visible only. I'm going to turn the strength up to 100. Maybe turn the hardness up. This one is broken. I selected the right thumb and I see purple on the leg. That is not correct. So I'm just going to shift click this, control click rather, and take that off of there. Take that purple off. So only the thumb should be purple and not the leg. I'm just going to go down here. Let's take a look at the left leg. So I'm looking at the neck here, and I'm going to deselect the jaw. I don't think the jaw should be a part of the neck, really. So yeah, just going to the jaw should most certainly be part of the head. So just fix that. All right, what I'm watching out for here is to make sure that the arm is not part of the leg, or else the whole thing will be broken. Left thumb is on the hip. That is bad. So I'm going to deselect that. Darken the thumb a little bit right there. All right. All right, so that's how the weighting works. I'm going to go ahead and save this as its own version, just in case I want to go back to it. What we do next is create some IK chains. So I'm going to go to character here, and you can pull down this menu right here. I'm just going to place it here. IK chains are going to let us move the arms and stuff. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to name this neck, and I'm going to connect the root to the neck. So I'm going to select root, neck, create IK chain, and there's the neck object that just appeared. It's called neck goal. And if I wanted to move the neck, let's see if this does what I want it to do. Okay, so that kind of makes it, whoa, what did we do there? Wow, that was really awesome. And if you didn't like the way that looked, you could do something else like delete the IK chain, delete the neck, the waist and the root. Let's do the shoulder and the wrist. So even though this bone is called the shoulder, it's actually the clavicle. So if I select the arm, that's actually the shoulder joint. So I'm going to select the arm and the wrist, create an IK chain, and that is going to be the left arm. Name it left arm. And if I move this around, it should bend right at the elbow and the shoulder. Okay, so you can see how part of his midsection is also bending. That's not supposed to happen, but it's no problem because we can fix it with the weights manager. Just go back here to the weights and take a look at that left arm. And we can deselect this area right here. I bet that fixes it. Let's find out. Go back here, and yeah, it's a little better. All right, let's keep going to the right shoulder. Select the right arm and the right wrist. Create an IK chain. Let's name it. We are so close so close to having a fully rigged character right now. We got the right arm, but let's test it out. See if we did good or bad. I think we did good. Now, we should be able to get to the leg. Let's look for the hip bone, which is going to be left leg, and we're going to bind that to the left ankle. Using an IK chain. Alright, got the IK chain there. That is going to be the left leg. Take a look at it. Yep. Got it. And let's go to the right leg. Bind that to the left ankle. IK chain. Give it a little test. Alright, looks good. Now we've got the body bound to the skeleton, and we've got the model weighted. So the next thing we can do is add the gear. So remember, I put all the gear in its own null object. Now I can start adding the gear back to the character. But here's the tricky part. I have to put the gear under the right bone. I'm gonna make the gear a child object of the bones. So, well, we can just start at the top. Let's get the shield. I'm gonna grab the shield and I'm gonna place it under the left wrist. So that should work. The sword I'll put on the right hand. This shoulder will go under the left. The helm will go on the head. Where does that go? The tabard is going to go under the root. Okay, and the shoulder, there it is. Now the boots are more complicated because I'm going to have to separate them. So what I'm going to do is go here to mesh. Let's take a look at the boots. I'm going to hide everything except for the boots so I can see them. And I'm just going to select these boots here. And unselect only select visible elements. I'll increase the size of my selector a little bit because I want to make sure I select the entire boot. Okay, I think I've got it all. So now I go to split, and that's going to split it to its own layer. And then I just press delete. So now I have the left boot and the right boot like that. Oh, I see a little piece that needs to be deleted right there. There we go. Now that I have the boots separated, let me figure out which one is which. This one is going to be the right boot. This one is the left boot. I also have to do the same thing with the bracers. Unfortunately, I've got to separate them, so let me go ahead and do the same thing where I select one of the bracers, click split, and then hit delete. Now I'm looking at the right bracer really quickly, and the left bracer, yes. All right, now let me place these gears in the right spot. Now I can view the whole model again. Let's find the leg. Left leg is going to be right here. So I'm going to place that right there. And it looks a little funny. It looks like the right boot looks funny, but I'll show you how to fix that with NURBS. And the bracers is going to go under the forearm bone, which is that one right there. What I did was I made the gear a child object of their respective bones. It's not quite placed correctly, so let's fix the helmet. Okay, let's take a look at the helmet. I can go into this mode if I want to get a better gauge of where the helmet is placed. All right, now I can take a look at getting the helmet to fit just right. So this is really important to get the helmet to fit, because once you get all of this part set up, it's all downhill from there. Oh yeah. Let's go and test it out. I'll test out the legs. There's the left leg. If I move it up, oops, let me spin this around. So I move the leg around, you see how the boot kind of sticks with it. the right arm. Sword and shoulder moves with the arm. That's how it's supposed to look. Left arm. Now if it doesn't look like this, well then you might have did something wrong and you have to go back and figure out what happened. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this tutorial. So it's totally possible for you to go in there and make this rig and make it even better. Good luck with your animations, and if you guys rig a character and you make a video, let me know so I can check it out. If you enjoyed this video and you like the channel, please hit me up with a subscribe. And if you have an idea for what you want to see in the next tutorial, let me know in the comments. Anyway, good luck and have fun.